Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you one of my infield approaches here in Bangkok. I don't like showing too many infields because of how misused it can be when taken out of context. And the reason I'm choosing to do this is to show you my conversation style before I completely retire from infield coaching. You can see all of my infields over the last 10 years in the private courses, but this one I wanted to make semi-public so you guys can see how I do it. And let me explain my process to you so that the next generation can benefit from my 10-15 years of infield experience. Let's watch. Japanese? You're Thai? Beautiful girl in a white dress sitting down by herself, and I walk up to her and I said, Japanese? And she goes, Thai.
Where are you from?
Taiwan.
Would you like to sit here?
I don't know if you guys heard that, but she said, would you like to sit here? So she's sitting there by herself, very beautiful, all done up. So right away, I looked at her, I looked around, and I grabbed a seat and I sat down, okay? Usually, there's a little bit more of a conversation before I decide to sit down, but in this case, she asked me to sit down. That meant that she wanted to talk, and so that began the conversation. People in Thailand are usually pretty nice, as Thai girls are usually very friendly. They don't reject you outright, even if they aren't interested, but in this one, I could tell she was interested because she asked me to sit down with her within the first 10 seconds. What are you up to?
Sorry?
What are you doing today? Okay, if I'm in America, I don't say, what are you up to? What are you doing? How are you doing? I avoid all those generic tripwire questions. However, because I'm in Thailand, my experience here has been that some girls are really great at English, about 10-20%, and 30 to 50% of them have like conversational English, okay? That means that they can have a slow conversation in English, but they're not that great at it. So that's why my delivery, the way I'm asking these questions are a little bit more plain 5th grade English.
No, I just relaxing today.
Just relaxing.
How about you?
Okay, now my client actually got the footage from me because he wanted to know how I do it. You can see here me sitting down, beautiful girl here, and we started this conversation. My friend come visit. I show him around. She said, what are you up to today? And I said, my friend is visiting. And as I do that, I lean back to show her non-verbally that I'm not needy. I'm not constantly trying to get her approval. I'm just sitting down with her as a friend would and having a conversation. Yeah.
Where you been from?
He just was in Bali. You know Bali?
Yeah.
But he's originally from India.
She asked about my friend. I gave her some background.
Yeah.
So your friends, they left already?
No, he's still here. He's still here. He's waiting for me.
Okay, so I actually point to him because I know he's filming, but it looks like he's on his phone. And I said, oh, that's my friend over there. Because if you try to hide it, it just feels weird, right? I was like, no, that's my friend there. And I told him I'd come talk to you. And we have, maybe 10 minutes or so.
I said, wait, give me 1 second. Let me go talk to... You want to meet him?
Oh, inside.
Yeah. Well, what's your name?
Okay, then we introduce ourselves. She tells me her name. I tell her mine.
No, I told him to wait for me. But why are you so friendly, though?
So I deliberately said that because he's filming and he wanted to see how I do this. And I said, no, I told him to wait for me. It's okay. But she was very friendly. She said, why don't you invite him over here? And I said, no, I told him to wait. We can talk. Okay.
What? Your habit?
Yeah.
Do you talk to everybody?
She was very friendly. She looked at me as I was walking by. She said, come sit. So I was wondering, like, why are you so friendly? And she was like, oh, I'm always friendly to all the people. That's not true. They're only friendly to guys they want to meet. But that's what women say. Okay.
Can I ask what you do for work?
So in the beginning, she was the one that was asking me a lot of questions. So I was just letting her ask. And then at some point, I took the conversation back and I said, okay, wait, I gotta know more about you. Are you always this friendly? What do you do for work? Now, usually, I don't ask these type of questions until I reach the social hook point. The social hook point is basically you're gaming for permission for her to be like, all right, I'll give you a shot, right? Most Western girls with Asian guys like me, we have to game till that tipping point is hit. In this case, with most Asian girls in Asia, as long as she likes you, you can go straight into comfort because she already assumes attraction. So now just a matter of getting to know her as a person. You don't need to build that attraction sequence in the beginning like you have to do in Western countries, especially if you're a minority, okay?
I'm doing real estate agent.
You're a real estate agent. That's useful because you can meet a lot of people if you're friendly.
Yes.
So she tells me she's a real estate agent. We talk a little bit.
2 more stops. 3 more stops.
So we start talking where we live in Bangkok, what we're doing here, our jobs. So it becomes a very, very normal conversation that you would have with a friend or anybody you knew really well, okay? It's a beautiful conversation. I'm gonna skip about 7 minutes.
I don't mind getting married though, but I want to have kids, but I don't know if I want to get married. But most girls will want to get married if they want to have kids. Sex on the first date, very fast. Asian is slower, less direct. Sometimes they talk not about the subject, they talk around the subject.
So we went from like work and what you do and where you live to now dating. And I talked a little bit about how Americans, it's a lot more likely to have sex on the first date, but Asians are a little bit slower. We tend to talk around the subject rather than directly at the subject. And I told her my experiences coming back to Asia and how I had to calibrate my communication style to be able to date. And she asked me about my dating experience here. It's been 2 years. And she said, do you want to find a wife in Thailand? I said, probably not. I think I'm more in tune with the Western or Chinese culture. And she told me about her dating experiences here. So we end up having a pretty deep conversation.
With Thai culture, also a little bit not always very direct. I can speak both, but I prefer more direct with my friends. I went back to Taiwan for 2 months. I met 3 girls that were pretty good. So I think it's just the environment, this environment.
She's a very good listener, so I end up telling her my dating stories in Taiwan and Thailand and how I compared the two. Anyway, we have about a 20-minute conversation, and then at some point I wave my wingman or my cameraman as it come, and he comes and he joins us and he talks to her for a bit, and then we end up going to another location, okay? So unlike the festival infields, unlike the Western infields in America, in Asia, for me at least, as a decently looking Asian guy, even though I'm getting old, I can go up to a girl and hit the social hook point pretty quickly. In Asia, a guy like me, I can assume attraction. In Western countries, I need to game for attraction. And then once I have the attraction, I need to game for permission. So what that means is I have to go up to her, demonstrate a little bit of value, banter, fun, wittiness. Then the girl's like, okay, I'll give you a shot. Then I can have a real conversation with her. But the mistake most guys make in the States is like, so what do you do? Where are you from? Do you come here often? And the girl's like, oh, I heard like 10 other guys ask me those things. I'm here in Miami. You don't have the right to talk to me, okay? Unless you're super good looking or you're just super jacked or you have a lot of money, right? So you're competing on superficial levels. But if I have game, hey, you looked interesting. I wanted to say hi. I'm not sold on you yet, slow down. But I wanted to introduce myself. What is your name? You shake hands, you talk a little bit, you show her that you can converse really well. And then at some point she's gonna be like, so what do you do again? What was your name again? That's when you know an American girl is like ready to kind of talk to you in a dating context. Okay. Now, because we're in Thailand, it's a lot easier. If you're Asian and you're decent looking and your social skills are normal, in America, you still have to learn attraction. But in Asia, you can just go straight in and you can assume attraction about 50% of the time. For me, it's about 90% of the time here. Okay. That percentage changes if I go to Australia. It changes if I go back to the States. So keep that in mind, and keep in mind that cold approach is different in Southeast Asian countries. Chinese people are a little bit more harsher with the rejection, but Chinese girls, if they like you, they really like you. And then if you go back to the States, you have to game for permission again. About 1 in 10 girls in the States, if you talk to her, as long as you're ballsy enough to talk to her, she'll give you a shot. But I would say for Asian guys, it's probably 10 to 20% of the population. That means that 80% of the time, you have to know how to game for that permission to really get to know her and share, like, you know, basic personal details about yourself. Okay, so this is Infield. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more infields like this, check out my course and check out our community. The links are in the YouTube description. Enjoy. So if you are a single guy and you're tired of dating down, you're tired of dating girls that you have minimal interest in, people have been asking me if they can train with me. And here's the truth. I've already created a whole community to help you practice getting good at this. It's called Social Skills Decoded, and there's already 300 paying members inside that are leveling up every single day. I don't want to just invite anyone in because the vibe of the group is really important, and I don't want to attract the wrong people. So if you are a guy who is 1, financially stable, 2, you're self-aware, and 3, you actually have a desire to improve your dating and social skills, then check out the link in the YouTube description that will take you to our community.